A man walks into a police interrogation room, sits down, and quietly adjusts a small device hidden in his jacket pocket. That man is Brooks Houck, and the device is a digital voice recorder he bought from a local electronics shop just 2 days earlier, specifically so he could secretly record the detectives investigating the disappearance of his girlfriend. Instead of answering their questions directly, Brooks spends the next 90 minutes writing out a painstaking, highly detailed statement. He maps out a seemingly flawless chronological alibi for the night his girlfriend vanished. This act of arrogance set the stage for a decade-long intellectual battle. On one side, a killer's carefully constructed narrative. On the other, a team of detectives determined to dismantle it piece by piece. The missing woman was 35-year-old Crystal Rogers, a devoted mother of 5 living in the tight-knit community of Bardstown, Kentucky. She vanished on the 3rd of July 2015, immediately following what Brooks had pitched to her as a surprise kid-free date night. Within 48 hours, someone spotted Crystal's maroon Chevrolet Impala abandoned on the shoulder of the Bluegrass Parkway with a flat tire. Inside, police found her keys, her purse, and her uncharged powered-down mobile phone. But that was it. Investigators combed through the 30-acre Houck family farm, the last place Crystal was seen alive, and found nothing. There was no body, no murder weapon, and absolutely no physical crime scene. When you have a total vacuum of physical evidence, you can only secure a conviction through logic. Investigators realized their only path forward was to tear apart the timeline Brooks had so confidently written down in that interrogation room. Brooks claimed that after their date at the farm, they drove home around midnight. He told police he went to bed, while Crystal stayed up late playing games on her phone. Digital forensics proved that was a lie. Device logs showed Crystal's phone battery definitively died at 9:23 p.m., while she and Brooks were still out at the farm. Brooks' story also relied on the police believing that Crystal drove her own Impala out to the parkway later that night. But investigators found a massive anomaly in the phone records of 2 men who worked for Brooks' construction company. At exactly midnight, an employee named Steve Lawson answered a 13-second phone call from his son, Joseph. Cell tower analysis mapped Steve's location during that brief call directly to mile marker 14 on the Bluegrass Parkway, the exact stretch of road where Crystal's abandoned Impala was discovered. Years later, the Lawsons confessed to the actual sequence of events. Joseph had been driving Crystal's car away from the farm when the tire went flat, prompting him to call his dad in a panic. Steve picked him up, moved the driver's seat forward to make it look like the shorter Crystal had been driving, and left the car there as a decoy. The suspects had gone to great lengths to stage a physical scene. But invisible, objective digital data, a dead battery, and a single cell tower ping cut right through the illusion. So, if the digital evidence was so robust, why did Brooks Houck remain a free man for nearly a decade? The answer lies in the Houck family themselves. They operated as a unified shield, starting with Brooks' older brother, Nick. As a local police officer, Nick actively interfered with the investigation, and phone records revealed his mobile was completely turned off for 36 hours on the night Crystal vanished. And then there was Brooks' mother, Rosemary. She was caught secretly recording her own grand jury testimony to ensure the rest of the family kept their story straight. Later, a witness testified she even approached him on a construction site to ask if he knew someone who could help get rid of Crystal. In an insular community, an organized family network acting in total lockstep is incredibly difficult to break. It proves far more formidable than any standard legal defense. While the police fought that wall of silence, Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, launched his own relentless shadow investigation. He kept meticulous records, created Team Crystal, and began publicly tracking a suspicious white Buick seen near the farm the night his daughter disappeared. 16 months into his search, Tommy was out hunting on family property. He was with his 12-year-old grandson. Under the cover of darkness, a single, unseen gunshot struck Tommy in the chest, killing him instantly. Decades later, prosecutors would reveal that the ballistics closely matched a rifle that had been purchased and then sold by the disgraced police officer Nick Houck. he used the fake alias Nick Ballard for the transaction. The Houck family's cover-up proved it was willing to claim a second life to maintain the silence. It took until the trials of 2025, heavily bolstered by a massive FBI takeover of the case, to finally break the stalemate. The Lawsons faced charges, and Brooks Houck finally stood trial for murder. The defense argued their old refrain: no body, no weapon, no crime scene. But when presented with the digital footprints and the unraveling lies, the jury needed just 4 hours to find Brooks guilty on all counts. Yet the victory remains incomplete. Crystal's body has never been recovered, and Tommy Ballard's murder remains officially unsolved, and multiple people who helped orchestrate the silence continue to walk free. At the sentencing, Crystal's mother, Cher Ballard, stood alone before the court. Having lost both her daughter and her husband, she looked directly at Brooks Houck and asked the one question that still haunts her every day: where is my daughter? A digital footprint can eventually imprison a killer. It can dismantle a carefully written alibi. But true justice remains fractured without ultimate closure for the families left behind. If you have any information about the disappearance of Crystal Rogers or the murder of Tommy Ballard, please contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI.